Hi there, and welcome to A&P with Dr. O. Here we are taking a look at simple columnar epithelium underneath the microscope, and we're going to talk about how we can recognize this tissue underneath the microscope. Simple columnar epithelium can be found lining the stomach, lining the intestines, lining the gallbladder, lining the uterine tubes, and it can be found in the collecting ducts of the kidneys. It gets its name, simple, we know that means one layer, and columnar tells us that the cells now are going to have more of a column or rectangle shape. If I, kind of outline a few of the cells over here, we can see that they make these long, slender columns or rectangles. And again, it's just one layer, and therefore we call it simple then. Simple columnar epithelium. To find our cells, we can always look for our handy-dandy nucleus. Here we have one right there. Again, either a circle or an oval that is a little bit darker. Now we can also see another type of cell present. We can see these cells that they look kind of open and empty, even though they are not. These are known as goblet cells. And you may also hear them called mucus cells because they do make mucus. What happens is we take mucin plus water, and that makes mucus. And that's why sometimes these are also known as mucus cells, because they are going to produce mucus. We've got our nucleus labeled. We have one of our goblet cells labeled. Now we can label our epithelium. All of this right here is going to be our epithelial tissue. Remember, it faces the space or free surface. So that means that this is going to be our simple columnar epithelium. And now we are starting to see that we not only have this free surface here that we can see here, but we also have this surface on the other side that's going to be connected to the connective tissue. We always see our epithelial first, then connective, then muscle, then nervous tissue. And where the epithelial tissue and connective tissue join, this is going to be the basal surface. So we use the term basal lamina sometimes because that's the attachment site for the epithelial tissue in order for it to attach to underlying connective tissues. The basal lamina combines together with a reticular lamina to create a basement membrane. So that basement membrane is bound to the base of the epithelium. That's just some terminology that you want to be thinking about as we're talking about tissues and we're trying to decide where is the epithelium. Well, if we know where the apical surface is, and that's facing the free space or the free surface, and then we know where the basal surface is, the basal lamina, or what's going to come together with the reticular lamina to make up that basement membrane, then we know that what's coming next is going to be some sort of connective tissue. Again, these are things that help us get our bearings and can help us with identification of tissues.